How's it going? Hopefully you're doing all right. Hopefully you're better than these poor kids back here behind us on that big ice mountain, right? That ice mountain is taken from all the nasty roads in town and dumped right there. These kids are climbing all over that nasty thing. Whiskey's eating the snow today. Trying to get his fill of it because he knows it's all melting. There's things, you know, maybe you've heard about some of this stuff going on with the snow, right? Some of the snow is fake or mixed with something. And, you know, sometimes I wonder about that stuff, just the way it packs. You know, this way things are different from what I remember it growing up, right? But one thing I will say, I mean, we're noticing water. Right? There's some videos out there saying, oh, this stuff's melting away and there's no water in it and stuff like that. I don't want to dig too much into that, but I mean, of course they're putting chemicals in the air, so it's affecting us, right? But I will say I noticed that, you know, all the snow melting right here where I'm standing every year is flooded. This year it's not. Right? I even got past videos where we're walking up to this area where we can't even get to where I'm standing now because it's so flooded. There could be reasons, right? But some of that thing is, all the snow, this was all covered in snow. You see me walking through here, you know, several days now, and all the snow is, yeah, we got some water from it, but it should be more, it seems like, right? We'll get on to a point today. We'll share some information on our way. Right here, we're gonna start. We're over here in Defiance. Anyone knows Defiance? We're at Kingsbury Park, Whiskey's favorite spot. But what we have over there, what you're looking at right now, across the river, is Fort Defiance. And we'll get over there, and we'll make our way over to there in a moment and tell you a little significant information about Fort Defiance, how it applies to some of the stuff going on today, I guess, right? You know, back in the day, that we're talking about when America was first being settled, right? Over here in the Northwest Territories, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, all that, right? And back then, supposedly there were no cars and no roads, bridges, right? So in order to get from where we're at right here to that over there, we would have to cross this river, right? Maybe that's where somewhere along the lines they started walking on the frozen river, and now we get all the way up today where you no longer have to walk across the river. We got a bridge over there, but you might as well take your heavy ass snowmobiles up on it.
Out came Goliath, scaring all the men. He was a giant, bigger than the rest. Cried out, come closer, and I will make you dead. David responded by leaving with.
Hey, quit being a show off. So this is Fort Defiance, the actual spot of Fort Defiance. So, the Fort Defiance. Let's consider Fort Defiance. What is this? back during the American Indian War, right? This area here was known as the Northwest Territories. General Anthony Wayne. America wanted to, decided it was time to start taking more territory. Previously, before this spot, America came in, the English came over, started, they said, oh, look, here's a land with no people, and started setting up shop, even though there was people all over the place. Those people we called Indians. Well, they made agreement and a treaty, right? The English did. Right? We had Britain and France and several different countries over here fighting for territory. This is Britain's territory. This is France's territory. Shit like that, right? Well, you come over here in frontier land, and there's just a slight problem. While you're all fighting to claim all this territory, there's people that are already here. Oh, well, they're savages. They're savages. Just annihilate them, get them off the planet. Oh, we'll pretend that we'll be friends with them, and we'll hand them blankets full of diseases and stuff like that, right? We'll wipe them off the planet. As many of them as we can till we get our way, because that's what happened right here in Fort Defiance, right? They friended up with the Indians to fight the other people. That's what was going on, right? The French and the Britons, whatever, I might not have all the facts completely straight, but it's basically what I'm, right? Here's a history lesson for you. The side that they're not telling you. They made up, first stole land up to Ohio, right? And whatever colonies they had. And then they wanted more territory, but originally, so there was a treaty with the Indians, the natives, my people, right? I got people from both sides, I guess, mixed in me, as most of us. But so they made a treaty with them. Okay, you keep the Northwest Territory, which is Ohio. Like I said, I don't have it all completely right, but it's Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, something like that, right? Well, then they started right here in Fort Defiance. They started breaking that treaty, started taking over more stuff, knocking down their crops, because they needed it. They needed it for support for battle, right? So Anthony Wayne builds Fort Defiance right here. In its time, the strongest fort ever in its time. They make a pact with the Indians again, and they say, okay, well, we're going to take this much more, but don't worry, we're going to give you all of Indiana. So the English, whatever, white man, chose the people that were not from here, right? Chose. Then they signed a treaty. And in that treaty, it says Indiana belongs to the Indians for life. Forever, right? And that was the treaty. Well, as you can see how that turned out, take a look at Indiana now, right? And it wasn't much longer after that Fort Wayne come into existence, right? We all know them as cities and towns right now, but these at the times were forts built by illegal occupiers. And all the people, the little people, were all lied to, right? We believed this was, first, we didn't know nothing about no Indians. You come over here, settle this land. We need to take over these territories. We found land, right? Get over here and get yourself some. Oh, those dark colored people over there saying how, raising their hand saying how, inviting you in, showing you hospitality, they're savages. Get rid of them and take that land. And that's what happened, right? So all this land, you got, the point is, now 250 years later, you got the very damn same thing going on, still continuing, right? And I want to tell you who fought over here in these French Indian War and, you know, the Revolutionary War, all these wars that fought right down through here, through the Black Swamp, Northwest Territory. Indians fought in it, white people fought in it, right? But the people that fought in it on the American side were nobodies, right? They were just settlers, just peasants. Okay, the people that made the decision to steal all these lands were sitting in comfort, not fighting the battles. Just like you have going on today. What we had was an empire taking over, stealing land, right? And the very damn same thing is going on still in the world today. And the thing is that the people that were the head of it, those decisions, are the same people today, right? The bloodlines, their children didn't fight those wars to steal this land. Your children did, unaware that they were stealing, unaware that they were committing sins. And now we're stuck under the control of that empire that has spread its wings out, and made damn clear we'll own nothing to be happy. If you're happy while owning something, we're gonna take it from you. So let's take a minute to consider the types of people that were making those decisions in the 1700s, 1600s, to come over here to America, steal somebody else's land, prop themselves up. They come from a bloodline, right? There's X number of families ruling the world coming from certain bloodlines that they think is better than yours. Sorry, I bounce around a little bit here lately on my videos, but let's bring some points into perspective. Now I know some atheist people or people that just finding it hard to believe. And I'm telling you, you better learn how to believe in God right now, right? But because they want to say, oh, the Bible contradicts itself. And a lot of that is because false Christians who are misrepresenting stuff, right? I'll tell you one of the biggest contradictions in the Bible. First, let's reflect on, I'll post it on there, right? A certain story. A woman approached Jesus. Sir, my daughter, I think, right? My daughter, his daughter, her daughter, whatever, is dying, needs your help. And Jesus was ignoring her. This compassion, this God of compassion that the Christians tell you he's all only about compassion and all this and that. But he says to her, she's begging him, right? Help me. Help my daughter, please, Lord, right? Because she knows who Jesus is, the Savior. Right? Back in this time, everybody's looking for this man called Jesus. He's going to save us, help us, right? All this stuff. But anyways, all these people getting help. This woman asked him, let's pay attention here. as it points out, it says she was a Canaanite woman, right? And what did Jesus say to her? He says, get away from me. Why should I give these great gifts of salvation, right? Why should I give these great things to the dogs? Why should I waste the gifts that go to the saved? Why should I waste that on the dogs? You know, consider that. Wow. I've been hearing about this Jesus running around healing people, making the blind see, raising the dead, doing all these great things. Everyone says he's full of compassion. I asked him for some help. He says, get away from me, you dog. Right? Well, let's consider that, okay? Back up. It said she was a Canaanite woman. Now, to be clear, Jesus did have compassion on her, and still, because she said, even the dogs get the crumbs. And Jesus said, wow, you have some great faith, right? So I'm going to, even though you're not my people, I'm going to give you your request, right? Help you. Have compassion and have mercy. Because, really, we're all God's people, right? They want to act like there's certain chosen people. We're all God's people. We're all created by God, and it's His will, His desire that we would all come to Him. And I think they play music, so I can't do my videos in town, right? But anyways, right? But she was a Canaanite. Let's not get off track here. The Canaanite bloodline, right? Who were the Canaanites? So we got these people that come out and say, these atheists who don't want to believe, oh, well, the Bible contradicts itself. How could a God order the destruction of people like that? Order murder and all that, right? Well, it's because they were Canaanites. Who were the Canaanites? Well, the Canaanites worshipped Baal, however you say his name, right? And they sacrificed human sacrifices to Baal. They did ungodly sexual acts at the altar for worship to Baal, right? It's the point, right? They were eating flesh. This is who they were. They were an abomination. So they were an abomination. God said to get rid of these people. Why? They're worshiping a false God, right? And they are doing despicable things to worship that God. They've chosen that. Therefore, they are, God hates them. Get rid of them. Right? The very people doing these sick things, the kinds of things they were doing, far worse than you even realize, are the kinds of things coming out through these files that are being released lately, right? These are the kinds of things that the Canaanites were doing. This is the kinds of things that the Canaanite bloodline does. The lizard people, right? These are the people in charge of things, and they always have been. Their bloodline remains in control, and their goal is to enslave the whole world. The United States of America was, it's known as the experiment, right? It was their experiment. These people that worship Baal, right? The very people we are praising and everything else today, right? I don't care what side they're on in the politics. If they're allowed to make it to the top, they've proven that they belong to this bloodline. If you find out from these files that's been getting released, you find out a bunch of stuff going on with a bunch of DNA kits, right? What was the reason for that? They needed each person, as they moved up the line, before they could hold so high of a position, they have to prove that they have that lizard DNA inside them, the Canaanite DNA, right? They have to prove that they are of Baal and not God. And those very same people, their bloodline is in control and in charge today, right? And they are using the very same tactics, except now just more deadly, right? They're removing people off their own lands because they want it. They're taking control over everything because they want everything. They're taking ownership of everything because now we're entering in the time where they think they are winning. They think that this war is almost going to be done. They think that they're coming out on top. And that anyone that does not belong to their bloodline does not deserve to live. You consider, you take these, we had pictures forever, people couldn't figure out what's going on with some of our top people, right? And like Hillary Clinton as an example. There's been pictures of her, videos of her needing help walking up and down stairs. This was even on her last campaign. I mean, back in 2016, right? Falling downstairs, uncontrollably laughing out of nowhere, and some other things. And what these are is signs of, I'm not sure if I'm going to say it right, Kuru. You can look that up. That is, a disease that's caught from consuming people, right? So the signs have been there all of this time. Your conspiracy friends have been trying to warn you, and nobody wants to listen. They want to believe, right? And there's actually, my friend mentioned about this might possibly be a hoax, and I get where you're coming from. I get where people are coming from on that. And it turns out that that's becoming kind of a big movement. A lot of people are starting to feel that way. Well, this is exactly how they play these games, because the stuff we're finding out is so disgusting, so sickening, so horrible that we just can't believe it. And we can't believe that these people we've admired all our lives and enriched and empowered are the ones behind it. Well, they very much are. And as I've just showed you from the beginning of this video, they've been doing it for centuries, right? And they have poisoned the minds of all the people around us, right? Like I've been mentioning stuff about people that did me wrong. Well, they're going to face judgment. And that's part of my problem. These are people I've cared about, some of them, right? And I don't want that judgment to face them, right? I would rather they turn from what they did wrong. The only way to escape that judgment is to repent and right your wrongs, right? But we don't want to see that. The thing is, there is a judgment coming for these sick people, right? They are going to burn in hell. And one of my biggest points is we're not going to do much to stop it. We should understand that by now. So we're not going to change it, really. I understand that, right? The goal is to keep everyone you know and love from falling into this nonsense, right? These people deserve the judgment. Our loved ones we'd rather see turn away from it, right? I would hate to know that somebody I know, because they don't want to understand that if you stole from somebody, you're going to burn in hell with the people that are eating, right? So don't steal, right? Follow God's commandments. If you're cheating on somebody, you're going to follow that same judgment. If you bear false witness, you break these commandments, that's the judgment. And all of us agree that these people are sick, disgusting bastards that we want nothing to do with. Well, don't fall in to the ways of society that these sick bastards have directed. don't get yourself caught up in a judgment reserved for them. Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Whiskey and I, we appreciate it very much. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep all of his commandments, for that is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. See you.